Karen tried to have my pet killed. Whether your pet is a dog or a cat, or even a bird or a fish, I'm sure most of us, especially those of us who are animal lovers, form bonds and special connections with our pets to the point they feel like family to us. I have 14-year-old male water monitor lizard. His name is Zilla and he is pretty much my baby. I know many people may not relate to this entirely, but imagine if it was your pet in this situation. But anyways, I got Zilla back when I was still in middle school. Back when he was only about 8 inches long, 20.3 centimeters. And now he has grown to around 7 feet long, 213.5 centimeters. And for a monitor lizard, he is puppy dog tame. You can pet him, cuddle up to him, and he always wants to sit in my lap when I try to watch TV with. He will even try to lay on his side so I can rub his belly. I swear this lizard thinks he is a dog. But fast forward to about a year and a half ago, I moved into a suburban neighborhood, which for years I said I would never move into one. But the house I was moving into was fairly nice and within my budget. Once I got moved in and everything set up, for the first 2 weeks of living here, everything seemed great. Nothing super eventful happened until I decided to take Zilla outside. It was a nice warm day out and I decided to let Zilla out of his enclosure, which was the extra bedroom I had, and let him catch some rays. I put on some protective sun gear and hat, and sat out in the yard with him reading a book. About an hour in, these kids come walking down the street, 3 boys and 1 girl, and saw me and Zilla just chilling in the yard and were amazed to see a big lizard in person, and not in a zoo. One of the little boys, I'm guessing around 10 or 11 years of age, came up and had asked if he could pet him. I happily welcomed him and let him and the other kids pet Zilla, and he loved the attention. He raised his head up and then pet him on his nose, chin, around his head, neck, belly. Don't worry, I made sure the kids got some hand sanitizer both before and after petting him. They all enjoyed the experience, and though my big lizard was really cool, except for who I can only guess was their mother, who pulled up in an SUV on the sidewalk and jumped out of her car screaming, "Get away from that thing, it'll bite you or eat you." And I'm just sitting there with the bells going off saying, yep, there she is, the neighborhood Karen. She stormed up past the kids and straight to me and started berating me about how I exposed her children to such a dangerous animal and quat. I calmly explained that Zilla is not dangerous and your kids just got done petting him and were in no danger at all. She then went off on me again saying that thing is not a pet, it's a monster that should be put down or put in a zoo. The only animals that are pets around here are dogs or cats. Lizards, especially big ones like that, are not pets. Not gonna lie, I was very close to decking her in the face after that statement, as I've dealt with people like this before. But that's a story for another time. After that I stood up and said, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but perhaps you would just show me your license and ID that says you get to dictate what can be considered a pet or not. And in the most predictable response ever, she stomped her foot and yelled, "Get rid of that thing right now, or I'm calling the police." And I shot back with, "And tell them what? That you trespassed on someone's property and are trying to tell them what to do with their babies? That is not a baby, it's a danger to the whole neighborhood." And with that I picked Zilla up and just told the crazy woman to go home and have a nice afternoon. My baby and I are going to go watch some TV. The next morning I went to work, worked my hours, and headed home with very little drama. Barely 30 minutes when I got home, I heard a knock at the door. I go to answer and it's the police. Of course she called the police on me, but I greeted them politely and said, "Afternoon officers, what can I help you with? We got reports that is a dangerous animal on your property and it had bit someone." I raised an eyebrow. Bit someone? Who did it bite? And just like if it was a movie script, Karen come up with marks on her arms that were supposed to be bite marks and then demanded that the officers take my lizard away and have him put down. I looked at the supposed bite marks, and couldn't help but to bust out laughing. The second officer got a little stern with me and said, "This isn't funny. This woman is clearly hurt," in which I replied, "You're right, it's not funny, it's hilarious." I continued giggling like an idiot, and when the officers started stating that they were gonna take me in for questioning if I didn't take this seriously, I collected myself and asked them, "Before that, did you guys actually look at her wound?" Apparently they hadn't, cause anybody with eyes can see its red makeup in the shape of not even what a monitor bite would look like. It was too short and curved like a human bite. The Karen then burst out saying, "No, it's real, his monster bit me and tried to eat my kids. It needs to be put down." I still couldn't help but giggle at her hysteria. I looked at the officers and said, "Officers, would you like to see the monster she's referring to?" They agreed and I took them to the bedroom that was Zilla's enclosure. I got my car keys out as his room door key is on my car keys for safekeeping. Unlocked the door and showed them the monster and quat. Now I could see they were a bit nervous when they saw him. I mean, it's not every day you see a big lizard outside of a zoo. But I proved and showed them that he is no harm to anybody. I even let them pet him to show further proof. He is no danger to anybody. The officers actually ended up taking a liking to him. Which at that point we all looked over at the Karen and one of the officers asked, "So how exactly did this animal bite you, if it's been locked up in its room all day?" Karen went pale as she knew she had been caught in a lie. But I decided to add insult to injury and even added, "Yeah, Perhaps you would like to tell us how you got into my house, got into my lizard's room and got him to bite you? When you need a key to get in the house, and you also need a key to get into the enclosure. All keys of which have been with me all day in my pocket. And quat. Karen had no words. I could tell by the look on her face she knew she fucked up and couldn't get out of it. She was charged for filing a false report and fined with a $3,500 ticket for wasting police resources. Moral of the story: just because people have something you don't like or are scared of, doesn't give you the right to try and take it away from them. I'm glad this didn't escalate to any extreme level. But if I had to go to court over my lizard's life, you bet your butt I would have, and would have won easily. I know some people don't see reptiles as real pets and quat. They just see them as display animals. And yes, some reptiles are like that. But for some, if you just put in the time, care, and effort, you can see that reptiles can be just as loving as any dog or cat can be. Zilla is my baby boy who I have had for so long that he has literally become my child. So, fuck you Karen for trying to take my baby away from me. Edit. Holy jeez, oh well, I was not expecting this post to get this much attention. I figured it would just a story I'd post and it'd get buried, but thank you all so much for enjoying it. Now to go ahead and answer some questions I saw in the comments. Let me clear some things up. Did she ever do anything past this ? And quat. Actually no. After the incident I never saw her or her kids again after that. In fact I later found out from a coworker, she actually moved. Why? I have no idea. But if I had to guess, she must have gotten so embarrassed after the incident that she just felt she couldn't show her face in this neighborhood again. Don't know where she went, don't really care either. I do still get occasional glances from people passing by when me and my boy are out chilling in the yard. But haven't had any crazy people try to take Zilla away again. Also, I'm so sorry for taking so long to get back to everyone's comments, as I had to head out work shortly after posting. I'm not a super active person on the internet, as I do have a life outside of the internet. So I'm not online all that much, and I also don't post all that much. But occasionally I'll have my moments. And I also feel the need to add that all this happened nearly almost a year and a half ago, coming close to 2 years now. So some details may not be 100% accurate, but I tried to explain everything as good as I could from the best memory I got. In fact, you can thank my girlfriend for convincing me to even share this story, as I never had any intentions to do so, nor did I want to, because I didn't think anybody would be interested. But I had some free time before work, so I figured why not and quat. And yes, you all can see Zilla. I just hope you didn't picture a massive lizard in your heads, because 7 feet, most of that length is his tail, as it is with most lizards, and he only weighs around 75 pounds, so he's really not that heavy.